G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. I had a lot of people messaging me saying, Drongo, we missed the old intro, we want to hear it back, so I'll give it to you guys for one game. Anyways, welcome. We're here on Dry Arabia watching Don Ardi playing as the Abbasid dynasty on the teal, the fast Imperial enjoyer, going up against the one, the only, the 80 Bunti. Yes, for anybody who missed it, there was a little bit of a remix. Somebody, somewhere, over in the universe of Beastie, caught on to a little conversation that he was having with Marine Lord, where Marine Lord mentioned that he only got 80 Bunti. And of course, when you're playing the Rus, only having 80 Bunti, it's just not sufficient. So it subsequently became a meme, and now we celebrate it. So Beastie is going to be piloting the English today, opening with a men-at-arms, which is, I like it. I like it a lot. The problem that you're going to have is that men-at-arms, it's very much RNG. So you got to be pretty lucky with how the enemy base spawns. If they've got a back gold, there's a good chance they're probably going to gather all the gold that they need to get aging up. Now, fortunately, it looks like for Beastie over here, while this is a back gold, there's no wood line that's blocking it. So it means that he's going to have a pretty much straight run through for this gold vein. So he'll be looking to put on a lot of pressure early. One other thing to note is that he'll be able to isolate the stone from Don Ardi as well. So really nice use there. He might be able to also hit the villagers on the berries, but it looks like Don does have coverage here, so he should be pretty happy with that. But Don now, I don't actually think he's spotted out the men-at-arms. Judging by his scouting circle, the scout was probably over here when the enemy men-at-arms was coming through, and there it is. So Don gonna be realizing, and men-at-arms comes through. Doesn't actually take any damage there. Look at that. No damage taken on those villagers, but he moves down towards the gold, which is the correct play here. Needs to look for these villagers here, and it's going to be a slow but steady dealing of damage. Now, Don doesn't actually have coverage on the gold vein. It's going to be coming through. We can see a fourth villager going to be rallied out here. So Don probably just going to be sticking it with the classic, just grab enough to age up and then run away. So he's going to have to gather 14 gold here. Second men-at-arms is going to come through. He picked up 8 gold off that one, so this one, all he needs is 6. There we go. He's got enough to age up, so he's happy. And he can always jump over onto sheep as well. So Eco Wing going to be coming up for Don Ardi. Now, Don Ardi has been going for Fast Imperial lately. I was watching his stream the other day, and he said, I have been going Fast Imperial in every single game, and I'll be honest, I've been winning way more than I should be. So I'm curious to see the Fast Imperial versus Beastie. How does Beastie look to deal with it? Now, obviously, Beastie's the best player in the world. Don Ardi's going to have a difficult time pulling pulling the cover over the eyes of Beastie on a strategy like Fast Imperial. So I'm curious to see whether Beastie's going to be able to deal with it, how he's going to be able to deal with it, and what kind of approach he looks to go for. Because Don Ardi's a great defender, and obviously the English early on can be very aggressive. In fact, that's one of the best things that they've got about them. You know, one of the things that I would just say about the English that I've noticed is they don't really seem to be as much of a late game civ in this patch. Obviously, they're still really good in the late game. Don't get me wrong. You've got things like your network of citadels with the extra attack speed. You've got access to enclosures. But to be honest, I feel like other civs are kind of, I don't know, they just seem to be a little bit stronger in the late game. Even, and I know this is weird, even the French, man. I'm looking at the French like, hey, this civ's kind of good. Maybe it's just people aren't used to playing it yet. Like, in particular, I think against the French, it's really key that you get out and secure gold. Because obviously they've got a lot of aggression early on. So if they manage to get keeps up on golds, especially like both of the big golds, you're going to be in a really difficult spot because you need a secondary form of gold, especially as a civilization like the English where enclosures is nerfed. And you want to be making those good units in the late game. You don't want to be going like spear crossbow against the French. Like you need to be getting hand cannoneers out, those sorts of things, and they're gold intensive. So the age up does come through for the Don. Economic Wing going to open him up here. And immediately throws down a stable and an archery range. So realizes, look, I can't go naked here, and that's fine. Some days you got to put on clothes. Some days you can just rock it with your... I'm not going to say it. You know what? I'm going to say it. YouTube, go for it. Try. You can rock out with your cock out. But Don not going to be doing that today. We do see the archery range and the I can't believe I just said that. All right, well, you know what? I might do it. Because I'm demonetized, if you'd like to support on Patreon, feel free to do it. Link in the description. Plenty of coaching content available over there for you. Go check it out. We got lots of good stuff. And of course, there'll be links in the description to both of these two players. Of course, I'm sure you probably know where to find him already, but Beastie streams every day over on Twitch. He's got a huge YouTube as well, which I'm sure has popped up in your recommendations. And Don Hardy, well, his YouTube is growing, but I encourage you to go check it out. Lots of educational content over there as well from one of the world's best players. But let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the base of Beastie, because 4 villagers on the age up. He gets the age up still almost before 5 minutes, a little bit after 5 minutes there, and immediately starts to look for a longbow follow-up, which is interesting. You know, most of the openings I've seen where players look to go for a men-at-arms, they look to follow it up with normally a second town center. I've even seen in some cases 3 TCs. I'm a personal favorite of that. But I do find it interesting that Beastie opted for the men-at-arms. I feel like he got pretty decent value out of these. Even though he didn't kill any villagers, it's important to remember that he denies upgrades. Like, in a perfect world, Don Hardy's got like his build order masterminded in his head. He's like, all right, I'm going to get the 200 gold for the age up. I'm going to get the 135, and then I'm going to get the wheelbarrow. And it's like, but then Beastie comes along and he's like, actually, I've got men-at-arms. You can't do any of that. And Beastie also keeps the men-at-arms alive. So it makes it very, very nice for him to transition into this feudal play. We do see the camels now coming out. Got to be careful with the camels. Similarly to the Chinese, you want to avoid making too many camels against the English in the feudal age, just because longbows have a very good time of picking them off. Longbows, obviously, you like to mass them up, and one of the issues that you do have with longbows is there are mitigating returns on them just because of that damage that's going to be coming out, only hitting 1 unit, and you've got, 46 longbows. But if that 1 unit is a camel, then you get a different story. But Don now going to be looking for a secondary town center. Heading over to the west corner. He's got a nice little spot over here, actually. Berries and the gold safe underneath the TC. And the TC is going to be in a great position to kind of block out. You know what? Against the English, it probably blocks down here, but I don't think it blocks to the top side. I reckon Beastie might have him over on that point. So Beastie going to be going for a second TC himself, though. So we see him cashing in right now. Oh, I thought he was a little bit short, but he's not going to be a little bit short. You know what? Even though we're 7 minutes into this game, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. So, in my room that I cast in, I have a window. Or in my head, immediately, I've gone to, like, The Simpsons, the episode where Otto's looking at The Simpsons' house as to whether he can, like, rent it. And he's like, oh, you guys have got windows? I can't afford this. Anyway, I pulled the blind up, and now, like, before it was raining, but now the sun's out, and it's only been 7 minutes, and I'm like, man, I really want to put that blind back down. Like, the glare is killing me, and I'm just throwing it up like, hey, would you guys mind if I just go and put that blind up right now? Would you guys mind? It'll take me like 7 seconds, I reckon. All right, I'm gonna do it. You guys stay here. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll just follow Beastie. Oh, sorry, 80 Bunty. All right, the blind is down. I can confirm. Blind is down. We do have windows. All right, so second TC's gone up for Beastie, and what a great spot for a second TC. I'm impressed that Beastie recognized this. I mean, I shouldn't be because it's Beastie, but still, I'm just impressed that anybody recognized this. Really, such a great spot. First and foremost, it's on the edge of the map, so less likely to get found, also easier to defend because you're up against the wall. But most importantly, it's on the hunt, and he can pull the boar. I'm assuming to probably right here. I don't even think he's going to need to drop down a mill. So this is really, really nice. So he'll be able to lure this boar in. And I don't think this is going to be something that Don, knowing Don's scouting path, I'd be surprised if he spotted this area out. He doesn't know. I don't think he knows about the deer over here. He knows about the boar, but I don't think he knows about it. So whether that changes the outcome of the game, I'm not too sure. But obviously Don's got, some units out at this point that he could be looking to put pressure on with. Especially these units that move a little bit faster, the cavalry, if you will. Second TC is completed for Don. He's going to be looking for a third TC when it comes to additional TC spots. Unfortunately, double front food definitely hurts, especially going up against the English, an aggressive civilization. And Beastie going with a blacksmith. So blacksmith and a second barracks coming out for Beastie. So this is, to me, this is like, if ever you spot your enemy making a blacksmith in the feudal age, there is no bigger indication that, hey, I am going to be trying to kill you in the feudal age. So as soon as Don sees that blacksmith, which he does, that should be like, okay, I can't age up. I need to make units, or at least if I'm going to try and age up, I got to be very careful with the way that I play it. And speaking of careful, look at Don coming out, going for the third town center on this double food source out here. I would be very surprised if Don looks to go castle. But look at this, moving all of the villagers over to gold. Well, I say all of the villagers. There's 5 villagers. And Don at the moment's got, 37 villagers. So it's not necessarily all of them. And he's going for fresh foodstuffs as well. So this is the consequence. This is that men-at-arms timing from early on in the game that is coming in right now. That 125 food that we were talking about, or 125 gold that we were talking about before, This is that gold that Don's only been able to get now, so he has to go into this, much later than he would like to. Ideally, you would be getting this as soon as you age up. Not going to be the case for the Don, though. So it is interesting to see how the men-at-arms continue to affect Don Artie, despite, it being so long since that. We're talking, what, probably 8 minutes since that men-at-arm attack came through. And look, Don could have collected gold before then. The reason is he didn't, because he doesn't want to ruin efficiencies in other areas. Like, it's much more efficient to take all your villages out and build that secondary town center and then go for the third town center first and then get that starting on trickling in. But it's interesting to see. Let's take a look on board, though, with Beastie. He's continuing to build up units at the moment, but idle on 2 of the 3 production facilities. I mean, technically 3 of the 4, because this one counts as 2. Not looking for a third TC. Just going to stick it out on the 2. Can obviously move into the King's Palace when Castle Age comes around, so can look to match the enemy. But at the moment, Don is going to be scaling. Remember that. 3 villages every 20 seconds compared to 2 villages every 20 seconds. So over the course of a minute, there we go. Ball going to get taken. It looks like he is just going to go for a little bit further. Going to be careful with that villager. Is that villager almost going down. Did bring out plenty of them, so we'll throw the mill down. I was going to say, throw it a little bit too close to the TC. Won't be able to fit a ring of farms in, but then fixes it up. Now, what was I going to say? I was going to mention something, and I felt it was quite important. Oh, yeah. So, over the course of a minute, Don Artie's going to be be making 9 villages, whereas BC's only going to be making 6. So, after 10 minutes, if I do my maths... Is that right? After 10 minutes, 9 villages? 9... Don's going to be on 90 extra villages in 10 minutes? Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Compared to BC, he'll only be up 60. And I mean, up 60 vills at this point, you'd be up at 110. But compared to Don, he'll be up 90. I don't know if my maths is right. I'm going to have to double check that. I swear that doesn't seem right at all. Okay, hold on. You know what? I've already gone for the, I've already gone for the window. Now I'm going to do the math. Okay, so if I've got a town center, it creates a villager every 20 seconds. That's 3 villagers every minute. If I've got 3 of them, that's 9 villagers every minute. Over 10 minutes, that's 90 villagers. Yeah, math checks out. Okay, math checks out. All right, military wing coming through for Don. I think Don senses the imminent danger that he is in. Obviously, the scout went down, and he's like, we kind of just need everything here to defend against this attack. Moves into a barracks as well. Men-at-arms is going to be a smart move for Don. But the numbers are building right now for Beastie. And I'm curious whether he's picked up siege engineering. Indeed, he has. Siege engineering is now through, and which naturally means that he's going to be looking to get aggressive quickly. Now, one of the key things that I always look for when I'm pushing with siege engineering, normally not to attack with 1 battering ram, always like to push it towards 2 or 3, but obviously every second you delay, there's a threat that the military wing comes through, and honestly, as long as there's a little bit of infantry here, all Don needs to do is just get a single mangonel. Single mangonel shuts this down completely. But I guess that's against a low-level player, and when I say low-level, I'm talking like Conqueror 3 plus, whereas Beastie's like Conqueror 3 plus. He's like, what, 2.3k rating or something like that? Like, you're playing against the best player in the world. He knows how to deal with mangonels. It's not difficult for him to do. Don could be throwing away a couple of villages, and we do see men-at-arms over towards that west side also looking to cause a little bit of havoc. Villages will be going down left, right, and center. He's so far lost 5 villages in this attack. He did start out with 3 losses, so evening up that villager difference from the lack of TCs, and he's looking to pick off the infantry. Huge amount of units here. Don Artie getting caught out of position. A little bit of a mistake from the Don. Getting caught with his pants down. Villagers on the move. I think this might just be the fact that he's getting attacked from so many different angles. Battering ram is going to be going down, but at the end of the day, he's managed to clear out a lot of these units. You can see them on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Second battering ram going to be thrown down. Age up comes in. Camel Riders now on the field. Obviously, these villagers going way too far. He will get the battering ram in the end, but what? Doesn't get the battering ram. Oh, that hurts, Don. That hurts. Second ram coming in as well. And Don really under threat right now. So if I'm Don, I'm looking for a mango. Don looks towards the man-at-arms. Definitely makes sense. I'm curious, has he dropped down a blacksmith? He does. +1 has come through. He's already moving in a +2. Now, keep in mind, didn't go for the culture wing. Without culture wing, no access to preservation of knowledge. And without that, it means that you're paying full price for Imperial. So there's a good chance Don's fast Imperial gets encircled the same way a battering ram in the back of the showers by 18 naked cat. Okay, never mind. We move... You know what? This is one of those videos. It's a write-off. It is a write-off at this point. Like, don't worry about it. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll do it again. We'll do it live. And look at Beastie just expanding out outposts slowly but steadily as he moves forward. One villager at a time, just keeps it alive. Another unit going to be going down on the backside. Classic Abbasid scream. And Beastie looking to put pressure on. If this House of Wisdom goes down, Don's desires of Imperial age become a thing of the past. Single battering ram on 5 health remains at this point. Was Don trying to kill the battering ram with the archer? Was that what was happening? I think that might have been what was happening. He was hoping he just didn't pick it up. So Don now finally going to be going for that mangonel. A little bit slow here. And this is the consequence of losing all of those archers. Those archers were going to be the mangonel building archers. All Don needed to do was keep his army underneath his town center and pull all of the villagers back. And I love the fact that Beastie just goes straight for the House of Wisdom. He says, I know what you're up to, Don. I know who you are. I know where you come from. I don't want you to get into that Imperial age. Because I can't deal with those Imperial units when I'm in the feudal age, let alone in the castle age, or I should say in the castle age, let alone in the feudal age. But we do see the age up about to come through, and it's going to be the White Tower. Beastie throws it down. Bit of a defensive position here. Not really guarding too much. Obviously kind of guards this gold vein, guards the secondary wood source, so that's nice. But the landmark does go down. And now the 3 battering rams going to be moving their way through. We're right on board with Beastie as the mangonel shot hits. It's a big one as well. Does a lot of damage. Spear's going to be looking to come through. Need to try and take out this mangonel. He's doing a decent split here. Mangonel needs to move back, needs to pull in villagers to get the repair on the men-at-arms. Nowhere to be seen. Don Artie, wake up, Don! Oh, this is terrible. Don Artie asleep at the keyboard for a second time in the week. You hate to see it. Now the second landmark is going to be under threat. Beastie really going for it right now. Don Artie doing his best to try and keep himself alive. Men-at-arms making their way to the front. They've picked up their +2 ranged armor, which means that the enemy longbows are going to be barely scratching them. And you can see that Beastie is working down that town center. He just knows what the focus needs to be. More villagers now going to be coming and getting pulled. Don with 1,200 villagers, or 1,200 wood here, and you can see that villagers just getting machine gunned down right now. Horseman managing to pop out. Spear's still standing idly by. He needs to take out the battering ram. I suspect he's going to be looking for a bit of a TC pop here. Could look to just surround the enemy battering ram with his own men-at-arms at the same time. Beastie continuing to just get more and more outposts up. The age up comes through. We can see that outpost down to the south is secure. It's safe. And slowly but steadily, the longbowmen might be able to make it out alive. I'm impressed. If those longbows make it out alive, Beastie has pulled off a miracle because that was a lot of units and they looked angry. Town center comes up. Don says, I think it's time for a bit of a farm transition. Now, one thing to note is Beastie's 2 TC against Don's still 3 TC. He never managed to take out the 3rd TC or the 2nd TC or the 1st TC for that matter. He took out the House of Wisdom, but fortunately for Don, the House of Wisdom doesn't produce villagers. Veterancy comes through on the longbows. Now that's a huge difference because all of a sudden you go from doing 1 damage to 3 damage. You get triple damage from the veterancy upgrade in this specific occasion because you're now going from 7 damage up to 9. Which is, essentially tripling your damage, which is absolutely massive. You can see beautiful micro coming in from Beastie here behind the scenes. Still just mixing up the Spearman Longbow combo. I like, how have I never said that? The Spearman Longbow combo. Oh my lord. I'm normally one to try and find a cute little term like that, but that one has eluded me for, what, almost 2 years now, the Spearman Longbow combo. Jeez. Wow. I can't believe it. Anyway, +2's on the way through for Beastie. That's going to give him an extra little bit of oomph in his fights. Not a huge amount, though. I mean, you're already doing 3 damage to these units. It's going to go up to 4, so it's a solid increase. But at the end of the day, nothing compared to that veterancy. The veterancy, very, very key here. And villagers, once again, going to be going down. 20 villagers already going down this game. And you can see Don would have been on 106 villagers if it weren't for those meddling kids. But obviously, Beastie, he's a kid. He's not the kid, but he is a kid. And he's meddling. That is for sure. Numbers starting to build now. Moving into crossbows as well. Crossbow men-at-arms going to be the choice here for Beastie. And he's just playing the infantry composition. And we can see a whole bunch of villagers. Is he moving out to stone? No, he's going to be going for gold. Now, here's a lesson for the kids. This is something that we often talk about when we're doing coaching in the mid-game. When you are looking at your base and you're like, oh no, my gold ran out. Don't think, okay, where's my safest gold? And go over there. All right? Don't be doing this right here. You want to take these villagers. You want to move them out into the middle of the map. And you want to start putting your foot down and being like, hey, actually, that's my gold. Put a keep down on that bad boy. Really look to extend out on the map. Try and take that gold that is more central away. That way, when it comes later in the game, you can always fall back on those smaller gold deposits and keep yourself safe. You see Don still with plenty of gold in the back of the base. At the moment, sitting on... He's got 2,800 in that one. 300 in this one. No relics yet to get picked up by either of these players. Actually, hold on. Where's my religious overview? Yeah, so interestingly, Beastie not going for any kind of monastery or anything, and that's kind of unusual. Normally, you expect to see that out of Beastie, But obviously, it's been pretty high tempo this game. He did definitely go for a kill over on this other side of the map. Let's take a look at Don. Do we see any mosque coming out for him? Doesn't seem like it. So both players just ignoring the relics, harming off the relics, and we see lots of villagers now being pulled to repair this House of Wisdom. Don, you getting ideas here, Don? Now, Don still yet to get upgrades through. This is another key factor in losing a House of Wisdom. You're not going to be able to have access to your unique upgrades at the House of Wisdom. So once Don has repaired the House of Wisdom, he is going to be able to access those upgrades. But we do see now a lot of longbows moving into position, and Man-at-Arms going to be turning their attention towards these units. And once again, Don Artie going to be completely outnumbered. It's a 3-to-1 outnumber on the military count. Also getting attacked towards the top side. Really, Beastie just looking to try and cause pain, problems everywhere for the Don. Mangonel slowly but steadily moving up here. It's interesting how the cavalry outspeeds the infantry, but the infantry outspeeds the siege. More villagers going down. He's taken out 5. Mangonel did shoot, but I didn't see any projectiles. You always got to watch out for those. He manages to hit pretty decent shot back here. Still taking out more vills. Beastie just being an absolute chad when it comes to villagers. But look at this. Look at this. 106 versus 104. 106 versus 104 villager count. So very, very nice for him. But we do now start to see Don's army solidifying. And oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What do we have right here? Beastie with the Berkshire on the south side of the map. Really interesting decision from Beastie to go into Berkshire. This is something that we have seen trending upwards. The Berkshire Palace is back, and it's back in POG form, which is always something that I'm supportive of. Gotta be careful with those vills there, Don. Don just leaving a villager out to dry, out to die. And I think what's impressive right now is that Beastie's managed to find an age up here to Imperial Age while also keeping Don busy. Where does he look to go, though, once he hits him? I would be suspecting he probably moves into hand cannoneers just because he's got so much gold, right? Like, it's very simple from here. You get your cross-precision breeding, you get your enclosures tech, and you just make hand cannoneers. At least that's what I would suspect. Maybe like a few spearmen as well, if you want. Maybe a springled or 2 might help you out. But look at Beastie. Look how he just sacrifices all the units, just goes after the villagers, trying to keep the enemy down, and at the same time pushing himself ahead. But the age up comes through. Don Artie now up against an Imperial Age opponent. Take a look at the upgrades immediately through. Enclosures, elite Man-at-Arms, and Tier 2 for the Golden Age now gets activated by the Don. I think he's finally managed to repair the House of Wisdom. Imperial will be a possibility for him, but Don Artie is now getting Imperialed on. And you can see here earlier what we were talking about. You go out onto the map, look to gain map control, put down those keeps. This is exactly what Beastie's doing here. So really nice move of those keeps on the top side. And obviously the Berkshire does the exact same thing with the large gold down on the south side. Now remember, Beastie's going to have access to these gold, so it means that Don is going to have to play without gold. Think of the units that you don't use gold on, okay? Archers, spears, horsemen. They're going to be the core units that he's going to have to rely on if he wants to play into the late game without gold. So it's really important that Don even looks to start picking up relics. Neither player yet to pick up any relics in this game. Obviously, Don got a free one sitting right here. A couple more a bit further out, but I think it's unlikely he looks to pick those ones up, especially when you consider the amount of control that Beastie's got at the moment, and continues to throw up keeps. And now he's going to start picking up relics. There's the first one going towards the Beast. And Beastie looking very solid in this game. You can see just the real difference that it makes. I'm curious about that Man-at-Arm opening now, because the fact that he didn't throw away the Man-at-Arms, he combined the Man-at-Arms into a bit of a feudal age push, that stands out to me. And it really makes me go, you know what? Maybe the Man-at-Arm opening isn't dead. Maybe there is something to be said on the Men-at-Arms opening, but you just don't look for those things that you were looking for before. You know, for me, personally, when I was going Men-at-Arm Rush, I'm looking, okay, I want to deny gold, I want to disrupt. And maybe it only works on some maps. I don't think it doesn't work on like mountain clearing. Can't do it on mountain clearing. Can't do it on like hideout. Just not possible. But look at this. Don Artie manages to get a castle cancel. Did throw a couple torches the way the dead keep. So interrupts the central castle, preventing what could have been a potential foothold for a sacred victory. And Don going to be sacrificing a couple Men-at-Arms towards the Berkshire. What greater way to sacrifice than through the Berkshire, and Don just says, take me. Take me. We see a couple of arrows there look like they don't have the incendiary upgrade. I don't know what that's all about. I have to do the math on that one. And Don now looking for more villagers towards that north side. Beastie obviously on patrol. He knows that the enemy's up there. And Don starts to go into the trade wing. Don even not going to be going for the culture wing. He says, you know what? All I'm interested in right now is trade. He's looking for that 80 bunty. Man-at-Arms going to be able to idle out a couple of villages over on the farms on the east side. And Don now looking to achieve the same thing Beastie was able to do. You can see the amount of damage coming through from this keep. Remember, these arrows from the keep are doing 12 damage a pop right now to these knights that have got only 6 armor. And look at this. He finds another keep. Should be able to get a couple of villages here. And looks like Beastie's going to have to do a bit of running for his life. Manages to get 2 or 3 villages. Delays the keep a little bit longer. But with all the units here, it looks like that it will get up. Age up for Don. Still coming through. Definitely struggling to keep himself alive. Finally gets to that Imperial Age, or at least 30 seconds away from that Imperial Age. Did obviously drop the 3rd TC down. So he's up on villages at this point. And he's feeling good about himself. The problem that he's going to have in this late game is gold. We talked about it earlier. He's exhausted all of these close golds. We take a look on board with Don. Where does he go for gold? It's out here on this gold vein. And look what's happening. Immediately, Beastie is putting on the pressure. He knows how to win these games. It all just comes down to gold control. The secret to the late game has been unlocked here. And it's Beastie demonstrating that you control the gold, you control the world. At least I think that's the quote from the famous movie in Dune about spice. Probably. A lot of traders coming in. Look at all this. Don just gets the traders. He's like, I'm ready. I'm ready. My spaghetti is ready. Throw it at me, baby. Hand cannoneers coming in. He's up to 9 hand cannoneers now. A lot of gold in the bank. Elite Army Tactics also looking to come through. Textiles, he's picking it up. He's throwing the kitchen sink right now in the way of upgrades. And Beastie is approaching Sacred Victory. Don should be able to clean this up. He's got plenty of units here. Villagers also getting in on the mix as well. Get off my screen, Sacred Side Objective. I don't want to see ya. I don't want to know about ya. You're so annoying. You're so obnoxiously big. Don now bringing in. How much is he bringing in? I'm curious what the numbers are. Hand cannoneer is going to be coming out for the Don as well. He's got 9 of them at the moment. Well, 3 in queue. 3 complete. 6 of them in queue. So still quite a little bit of them to go. You can see they're working their magic, and Don's still finding a way to keep himself alive in this game. The villager counts are maintaining parity. And while it might look like the game state of this game is relatively even, like, don't get me wrong, Beastie's obviously at a pretty big advantage when it comes to, you know, military numbers and upgrades and all that kind of thing. The main issue here is the gold. Beastie is just taking all the gold on the map, and it's going to leave Don empty-handed. Wallalo in the base! Don Hardy, no! Don tries his best to escape with villagers. He's going to be converting a couple, throws down an outpost immediately. Don Hardy gets wallaloed by the beast himself. It wasn't a fake out. It was a real one. And now the villagers pulling out their shivs. Don Hardy. And wait, these villagers immediately got a bow. All of these villagers immediately got a bow, but they don't have +1 because he converted them. So that's interesting. They get the bow, but they don't. Look, the outpost is going to go up. He's just causing havoc in the back of the base, trying to throw the outpost in it, or the relic in the outpost, I'm assuming. Actually, I don't even know why you'd try and do that. Don, he's not playing the Holy Roman Empire. Don really is struggling right now. How did it even get through? It just must have walked in or something when we weren't looking. Don's starting to build up a nice little mass here of the hand cannoneers, though. Hand cannoneer numbers are rising for Don. And he's got the horseman. That's definitely going to help him out. Up to 54 gold on the traders. Not a huge amount. And you can see, definitely not optimal trade here. Let's right on board with the Don. Yeah, so you can see this is the maximum amount he's getting from this trade at the neutral trading post. One of the worst trade posts you could probably get. I think the only way he could increase it is like throw a marker down up here, and that slightly increases it. Not a huge amount. But look at this. Don just really struggling against these men-at-arms. They're fully upgraded. +3 upgrades. They've got elite army tactics. They've got their armor cladding. Don Hardy really suffering. More men-at-arms now moving in towards that top side. He's trying to surround the horsemen. Barely able to do anything. Don Hardy, no gold to train units. No gold to train any more hand cannoneers. No gold to get upgrades. And he's stuck just making horsemen that have got veterancy. And he's fighting up against hand cannoneers in melee combat, and he's losing that fight, which is normally a fight you'd expect to be winning. Don Hardy now resorting to basic archers. It all comes down to gold. It all comes down to gold. And Don Hardy now down more than 40 villagers in this matchup. He's lost 119 throughout this game. Units continue rallying through. The Sacred Victory is approaching. Don Hardy manages to keep the head above water, even if it's ever so slightly right now. He's going down. I'm yelling timber, because Don Hardy, you got to move, you got to dance, you got to get onto that next game, my friend. Looking for another wallala. Hand cannoneer just says, not again, not again. We learned our lesson from the first time. What kind of upgrades is Don dealing with right now? So he hasn't actually picked up Grand Bazaar, which would help him out, I mean, ever so slightly. And look at this. Beastie now just going to start stonewalling on the bottom side. Beastie now walling him in. He says, I'm going to wall you in. Just the same way that the Muslim walled me in. I'm not allowing you to leave the base. I'm going to take all the sacred sites. I'm going to take all the gold. Let's do a little bit of a gold assessment right now. 8k gold. 4k down on this one. Beastie, 4k gold back here. Now moving on to his own back golds. Another 3k, and that's going to be a good game. Don Artie taps it out, says, that's it. I'm done. My traders aren't trading enough for me. And there's too many men-at-arms in my bloody base. And these villagers, these damn villagers. All right, fellas, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. Make sure you check out Beastie. I'll leave a link in the description. Make sure you check out Don. I'll leave a link in the description. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.